The number one pick is a select honor that can only go to one person every year. With that comes a certain amount of expectations and hopes. Some players rise to the challenge and flourish beyond all expectations, and some crumble under the pressure and become a what could have been. So with that, I'm ranking every number one pick in NBA history. Some disclaimers first. A. I'm ranking them half based on their quality of play and half based on what they accomplished and how integral they were to accomplishing those accolades. And B. There are 75 players on this list, so I'm going to breeze over some of the people that weren't that important to the league. Like number 75, all the way back in 1947, Clifton McNeely. He was the first player drafted to the league to the Pittsburgh Ironmen, but he didn't play because he wanted to become a high school coach instead. 74 from 1951 is Gene Melchior, who was drafted number 1 to the Baltimore Bullets but didn't play a single game because he was caught shaving points in college. For this, he received a lifetime ban from the NBA. Only one of 17 players in the NBA history have received this. The first actual player on this list, from 1948, Andy Tonkovich. In his one-year career, he played only 20 games for the Providence Steamers and averaged 3 points and under 1 assist. 72 is the infamous 2013 Cleveland Cavalier pick, Anthony Bennett, arguably the second most talked about number 1 pick in NBA history, simply for how bad he was. In 4 years, he played for 4 teams, never playing above 60 games and could never average above 5 points, 4 rebounds or a single assist. As a 6'8", 250-pound man, he never averaged even half a block or a steal. And since being out of the league, he's played for 8 different teams and hasn't lost on any of them. Currently, he's playing in Taiwan. Mark Workman, drafted to the Milwaukee Hawks in 1952, had a similar career to Anthony Bennett. 4 years, terrible stats, nothing special. LaRue Martin, drafted in 1972 to the Portland Trail Blazers, also had a short, uneventful 4-year career. But being 6'11", he was a better rebounder than the previous 2, even though he only peaked at 5. Kwame Brown, drafted in 2001, had a unique experience of playing with both Michael Jordan and Kobe. This likely broke him as the stories told about their experience together generally aren't pleasant. Like when he had Michael throwing slurs at him because he was that bad in practice. Or how Kobe got Kwame traded from the Lakers because he couldn't help down the stretch of a game and actively refused to take the ball. Either way, Kwame was a horrible number 1 pick. He dealt with injuries constantly and routinely played 40 games. He managed to carve out a 12-year career averaging 6-6-1, but peaked as an 11-7-1 guy. Playing alongside 2 of the hardest-headed leaders in Michael and Kobe was probably a major factor as to what ruined his career. Barring injuries, he probably could have had a decent career, but the length of his career is what really puts him above the others. Drafted before Kevin Durant in 2007, 7 foot, 245 pounds Greg Oden was in the league for 6 years, but only played 3 of those years, being injured for the rest. Even in the seasons he did play, he only played about 25 games once. In his time in the league, he averaged 8 points, 6 rebounds and half an assist, on good efficiency as well. And in his 2nd/3rd season, he peaked as an 11.9 rebound and 1 assist guy, but he simply couldn't stay healthy in his career. He's simply this high on the list because he's better at basketball than the other people below him. Drafted to the 57 Cincinnati Royals, Hot Rod Hudley played 6 years of mediocre basketball, averaging 8-3-3 for his career and peaking as a 13-5-5 guy. In the playoffs, he made it to the finals 3 times, but his performance never matched as he consistently performed poorly. So the only accolades he managed to acquire in his career are 2 1960 and 1961 All-Star appearances. Dick Ricketts, drafted in 1955 to the St. Louis Hawks, had a short and not so sweet career. He averaged 9-6-2 and he peaked in his 2nd year averaging 11-2-6, and only made the playoffs once in his career. It was a subpar career which ended in him moving to baseball. Next is Shahugo Shai Green. Drafted in 1965 to the Rochester Royals, he averaged 9-4-3 for his 9-year career. Keep in mind he missed his sophomore season to serve the US Army. Individually, he didn't accomplish much, but his mediocre play for the amount of time he did it, in and out of the playoffs, is better than some of his number 1 pick peers. For 11 years, Kent Benson averaged 9-6-2 on 50% shooting from the field after getting drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks in 1977. He only played for the Bucks for 2 seasons though, before getting traded to the Pistons. On the Pistons, he peaked there averaging 16-6-3. He was consistent throughout his career and he had some serious playoff runs, but he didn't contribute to anything significant. Michael Olowokandi, the Candyman, was drafted in 1999 by the Los Angeles Clippers. He had a solid start for any rookie, enough to make the all-rookie team, but in his 9-year career, he couldn't break out. He played for 3 teams and in his 5th season, he peaked averaging 12-9-1, but he had dealt with injuries the rest of his career, which led to his overall career average dropping and his stint in the league being short. Bill McGill was drafted in 1962 to the Chicago Zephyrs. He only played for 5 years, and in those 5 years he put up 11 points, 4 rebounds and 1 assist on 50% shooting. At his best, he was a 16-point scorer with 6 rebounds and 2 assists, and similarly to his peers, he didn't do much in his playoffs. Even though he played for 8 teams in the league, he only made the playoffs twice, and his career was overall lackluster. Howie Shannon had a short 2-year career, but he showed promise in the time he was in the league. In his first year, he averaged 13-2, winning Rookie of the Year, and in his second year, he averaged 9-3, but that's all his career came to. Drafted to the Baltimore Bullets in 1954, the 2-time All-Star Frank Selby averaged 11-4-3 for his career. Before he left for the US Army, he averaged 17-5-3. In his 9-year career, he made the playoffs 6 times and stepped up every time, improving his scoring and efficiency. But after returning from the military, his regular performance dropped significantly. He had multiple seasons where his stats dropped, but this was likely due to him consistently getting traded. Ernie Beck, drafted to the Philadelphia Warriors in '53, had a 7-year career and is the first NBA champion on this list. Though in a short 7-year career he only produced 6 points, 3 rebounds and 2 assists, in his year back from the Navy he won a championship for the Warriors and even stepped up in the playoffs. This would be the highlight of his career though, as after this he'd only peak as a 10-point, 4 rebound and 2 assist guy. Andrea Bargnani, drafted to the Toronto Raptors in 2006, was meant to be the next Dirk Nowitzki, a tall big who could space the floor. He didn't live up to those expectations, as for his career he'd only averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds and 1 assist. He'd peaked as a 20-point scorer in his 5th season, but injuries derailed his career, as for his 10-year career he'd only managed to achieve an all-rookie team. Charlie Chuck Scher was drafted to the Boston Celtics in 1950. In his 9-year career he averaged 8 points, 8 rebounds and 2 assists on 40% shooting. The main highlight of his career, aside from averaging 14, 11 and 2, or dodging the military in '55, was winning a championship in the 57-58 season. As his legacy stands, he was left as a good rebounder and an NBA champion. Jim Barnes joined the league in 1964 when he was selected by the New York Knicks first. In his 7-year career he averaged 9, 7 and 1. He started his career off strong, averaging 16, 10 and 1 and making the all-rookie team, but year by year he slowly regressed. Even in the year he won a championship, he didn't contribute to the ring at all. Markelle Fultz was the first active player on this list. After being compared to Bradley Beal, he was drafted to the 76ers in 2017. He was meant to complete the process and propel the 76ers into contention. When he came into Summer League, he looked fine. He dropped 17 in his first game, but going into the season, he looked bad. He only played 14 games, he didn't start in any, and we all saw his shooting. At the time, in the final game of the regular season, he became the youngest player to record a triple-double, but in the playoffs, he only played a total of 20 minutes in 2 rounds. Every year since his injury, he's improved, and being traded to the Magic seriously helped his career. But he's continuously injured and it significantly derailed his career. Fred Hetzel was drafted in 1965 to the San Francisco Warriors. He had a short 6-year career averaging 11, 6 and 1. He peaked in his 3rd season averaging 19, 7 and 1 in the playoffs and the regular season, but his consistent play only amounted to so much, as all he'd get is an all-rookie team and some serious playoff runs for his career. John Lucas's 14-year career didn't amount to much if he's this high on the list. He was drafted to the Houston Rockets in '76 and came in averaging 11, 6 and 3. He didn't start a game until his 6th season and peaked as an 18, 7 and 3 guy. His career only really amounted to an all-rookie team and a couple playoff runs. In 1967, the Sacramento Kings selected Purvis Ellison with the first pick. He only averaged 8, 6 and 2 in his first season, but in his 3rd year he jumped to a 20, 11 and 3 guy on 50% shooting. Unfortunately, injuries got the better of him, as the next season he'd only play 49 games and would only play above 50 games twice after a 20-point year and 4 times in his 11-year career. His only accomplishments would similarly be an all-rookie team. The Golden State Warriors selected Joe Smith with the number 1 pick in 1955. He made an all-rookie team averaging 15, 9 and 1, and in his 2nd year would have the best year of his career averaging 19, 9 and 2. But if that was the best year of his career, that means he can only go down from there. His decline was slow and he had a few good years in between, but playing for overall 11 different teams in a 16-year career, he could never find a solid role. Austin Carr had a solid career after getting drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 1971. In his 10-year career, he averaged 15, 3 and 3 on 45% shooting. In his first year, he averaged 21, 3 and 3 on 42% shooting from the field, and in his 3rd season, made an all-star team averaging 22, 4 and 4. But the rest of his career was rather uneventful, only averaging above 15 points once after this. But his few years in the league were very eventful and a standout. Another current player, being drafted in 2021 by the Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham has had a short, uneventful career, so it may seem unfair to judge him based on this. But I believe what he's shown was impressive enough to warrant him a spot above 26 other picks. He put up 17, 6 and 6 on bad efficiency, but as a rookie, being that effective in the big 3 aspects of stats is impressive in and of itself. In his current season, he's averaging 23, 6 and 7 on better efficiency, so he's taken the right steps to be higher on this list in the future. Art Taman was drafted to the New York Knicks in 1963 and only had a 6-year career. One of his best seasons was in his rookie year where he averaged 15, 3 and 4, which landed him on the all-rookie team. But his actual best season was in '68 when he averaged 28 and 4 on 45% shooting that year. This contributed to him winning an ABA championship, as he seriously contributed 20 points, 7 rebounds and 4 assists on 49% shooting. Paolo Banchero hasn't even completed an NBA season yet after getting drafted number 1 in 2022 draft by the Orlando Magic. But since he's been drafted, he became the first rookie since LeBron to put up 25 and 5 in his first game. In his first 3 games, he hasn't had a game under 20 points, and though they haven't won a game yet, Paolo has contributed in every single one. He's currently averaging 23, 7 and 4 and is leading the Rookie of the Year race. The 3rd active player on this list, Anthony Edwards, was drafted in 2020 to the Timberwolves and has proven himself in the 2 full years he's been in the league. In his rookie season when LaMelo went down, him and Tyrese Haliburton were the front runners for Rookie of the Year, averaging 19, 3 and 4. In his second year, he mainly improved his efficiency and was in consideration for being the best in his class, as well as improving to 25, 4 and 2 in his first and only playoff round. Now on a better team, he's set to improve even further and maybe do something serious in the playoffs. Jimmy Walker was drafted in 1967 to the Detroit Pistons. In his 9-year career, he achieved 2 All-Stars, one in 1970 averaging 21, 3 and 3 on 49% shooting, and one in 72 averaging 21, 3 and 4. After his second year, he was a consistent player in the league for his career. He averaged 17, 3 and 4 on 45% shooting. He only made the playoffs twice and played relatively well, but he never went far in. Joe Barry Carroll was drafted to the Golden State Warriors in 1980. In his years at Golden State, he was a model of consistency. He averaged 21, 8 and 2 on 50% shooting and peaked as a 24, 9 and 2 man. He made an All-Star team and All-Rookie team once, and barring a few years in his 10-year career, he contributed to every team he ever played for. Drafted in 1988 to the Los Angeles Clippers, Danny Manning had a lengthy 15-year career. He averaged 14, 5 and 2 for his entire career, but peaked as a 24, 7 and 4 guy in his last season for the Clippers. Danny had back-to-back All-Star appearances in 93 and 94, where he averaged 23, 7 and 2 between those 2 years. Danny was another player who dealt with injuries and would consistently drop games in the season. He had seasons where he played over 70 games and seasons where he played under 50. After recovering from injuries in trade, in 1998 he still managed to win 6th Man of the Year. Even through all this adversity, he managed to turn his career around. The New York Knicks took Cazzie Russell in 1966 and got some good use out of him for 5 years. He started as an 11, 2 and 3 guy, but peaked in his third season averaging 18, 4 and 2. He even won a championship there, contributing 9 points, 3 rebounds and an assist off an injury. The next season he moved to Golden State and had his first All-Star appearance averaging 21, 5 and 3, but only made the semi-finals. The rest of his career was statistically sound, but he couldn't accomplish anything much, finishing with a career average of 15 points, 4 rebounds and 2 assists. In Bob Boozer's 11-year NBA career, he played well after getting drafted by the Cincinnati Royals. He averaged 14, 8 and 1 for his career and peaked as a 22, 10 and 2 All-Star caliber forward. But the highlight of his career was in his final season when only averaging 9, 6 and 3 on the Milwaukee Bucks, he would win a championship alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Big O himself, while staying consistent in his stat line. Pretty good. Overall, he didn't contribute to accomplishing anything major in his 8 years in the league, but individually he averaged 18, 3 and 3 for his career. He made 4 All-Star teams and practically averaged 20 points on 50% shooting for 5 years straight. The 3 times he made it to the playoffs, he performed well, averaging 22, 4 and 4, and even made it to the finals, but he lost to the Trailblazers in 6. Overall, he was a great player that could have done more on a better team. Glenn Robinson averaged 22, 6 and 3 after getting drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks in 1994. This is his second highest career average and landed him on the All-Rookie team. For his career, he'd averaged 21, 6 and 3 as a small forward and made back-to-back All-Star teams at the turn of the century, averaging his usual stats between these years. His greatest achievement would be winning a chip with the San Antonio Spurs in his final season, even though he only played a total of 113 minutes in the entire playoff run. Larry Johnson won Rookie of the Year averaging 19, 11 and 1 after getting drafted by the Charlotte Hornets in 1991. He would make an All-Star appearance and the All-NBA team in his second year averaging 22, 11 and 4. Then after a down year, he'd make another All-Star team in 94 averaging 19, 7 and 5. His career wasn't the longest, but for 10 years he played solid basketball, having a career average of 16, 7 and 3. Brad Daughtry was drafted in 1986 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He'd make an All-Rookie team averaging 16, 8 and 4 on 55% shooting. The following season he'd make back-to-back All-Star teams, then have a slightly down year, then make 3 more consecutive All-Star teams. His career was cut short due to a back injury, but he showed potential in the regular and postseason as he consistently stepped up, even though it didn't ultimately amount to anything. Derek Coleman, drafted in 1992 to the New Jersey Nets, averaged 18, 10 and 2 in his rookie season, winning Rookie of the Year and putting him on the All-Rookie team. He'd constantly average around these numbers, making him an All-NBA player in his second and third season, as well as in 94. He'd make an All-Star team averaging 20, 11 and 3, but despite his best efforts in the playoffs, nothing much happened for him as he consistently lost in the first round. Elton Brand accomplished a good amount in his 17-year career after getting drafted by the Chicago Bulls in 99. He won Rookie of the Year, made an All-Rookie team, 2 All-Star appearances, and All-NBA team, while constantly averaging 20 points, 8 plus rebounds and an assist. He arguably stayed in the league longer than he was effective, but he still played well enough for how long he was in the league. Karl-Anthony Towns was drafted in 2015 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and is one of the most skilled big men in NBA history. He's won Rookie of the Year, made an All-Rookie team, 3 All-Star teams, an All-NBA team, and has been one of the best centers in the league for years. Not to mention shooting 40% from 3 multiple times and shooting 39% for his career. And he's only 26, he can only get better. Mark Aguirre was drafted to the Dallas Mavericks in 1981 and played there for half his career. For that half, he made 3 All-Star teams and averaged 25, 6 and 4 before he was traded to the Detroit Pistons, who happened to be contending for a title and would not only win that year, but would also win next year, meaning that Mark Aguirre basically became an NBA champion overnight. He didn't play to his best in these playoffs, but he still contributed a solid 12, 5 and 2 in both the years. John Wall was drafted to the Washington Wizards in 2009. He was a consistent highlight when he played for Washington. Though he couldn't win Rookie of the Year with his 16, 5, and 8, he still made the All-Rookie team. In the following years, he'd become a 5-time All-Star, an All-NBA player, an All-Defensive player, the fastest player in the league, and a top 10 point guard. At times, even a top 3 point guard. Until his injury, he averaged 19, 4, and 3, on 43% shooting and 32% from 3. Now, he's on the Clippers and has a serious chance of winning a championship this year. Bob Lanier was drafted to the Detroit Pistons in 1970. In his 14-year career, he made the All-Star team 8 times, won the All-Star Game MVP, and was on the All-Rookie team. Though he didn't achieve anything like an All-NBA, he was still a very good player as he averaged 19 points 9 times, was a great playmaker for his size peaking at 5, and consistently averaged over 10 rebounds. Between him and John, it's close, but him doing it for longer and having more success in the playoffs gives him the edge. Walt Bellamy was drafted in 1961 to the Chicago Packers. He played for multiple teams until the end of his career and performed for all of them. He won Rookie of the Year averaging 32, 19, and 3 on 52% shooting from the field, and made 4 All-Star appearances starting in his rookie year. In the playoffs he performed relatively well, but he never made the finals, only going as far as the conference finals. He played for 14 years, averaging 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 assists. The infamous Ben Simmons was drafted in 2016 by the Philadelphia 76ers. He missed his first season after breaking his foot, but in his return season he controversially won Rookie of the Year, averaging 16, 8, and 9. He's hovered around this ballpark of stats for his entire career, but where he stands out is on the defensive end. In 2020, he was a steals champion, as well as making an All-Star team, as well as making an All-NBA team, as well as finishing top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. We all know his main issue, but now he's on a team where that's heavily compensated for, and now he can only add on to his legacy. Zion Williamson was expected to go to the Knicks in 2019, but after the Pelicans got the number 1 pick, they obviously selected him. Zion, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and the other pieces were meant to form the best young core in the NBA. But in his first season, he only played 20 games because of injury and missed out on Rookie of the Year to Ja Morant, though he was compensated for All-Rookie team. Upon his full return, he was great. Excluding his weight issues, he made it onto an All-Star team in 2021, and now being back in better shape than ever, he's on a path to collecting more accomplishments. He just needs more time. DeAndre Ayton was taken ahead of Luka Doncic and Trae Young to the Phoenix Suns in 2018, and making the All-Rookie team with his 16, 2, and 10 was a great start, but he's gone further than anyone in his draft class. He went to the NBA Finals, and though he didn't win, every step of the way he contributed, and they wouldn't have been able to do it without him. Mikal Thompson is a 2-time NBA champion and an All-Rookie performer drafted to the Portland Trail Blazers in 1978. In his first season he averaged 15, 3, and 8, but would only improve in the coming years. In Portland he averaged 17, 9, and 3 until he was traded to the Lakers in 87, where alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, and Magic Johnson, not to mention a solo contribution from Mikal himself, they would win back-to-back NBA championships. He would stay with the Lakers the rest of his NBA career, then go on to retire in an Italian basketball league. Ralph Sampson was drafted to the Houston Rockets in 1983. He'd go on to be a Rookie of the Year, join the All-Rookie team, become a 4-time All-Star, an All-NBA performer, and an All-Star Game MVP in his first 4 seasons. He'd averaged 15, 8, and 2 for his career, and had a serious playoff run making it to the NBA Finals, so the litany of regular season accomplishments, plus consistently stepping up in the playoffs, earns him this spot. Andrew Bogut was drafted in 2005 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Although he played well enough to earn an All-Rookie team, he never improved enough to warrant his number 1 selection. In 2010 he was selected for an All-NBA team, and in 2011 he won a block champion, but he was still traded from the Bucks after seeing no major improvement. He was a defensive force, so on the Warriors he helped contribute to their title run. He would finish his career with a block championship, a 2015 championship, an All-NBA selection, an All-Rookie team, and a 2014 All-Defensive team. He'd also shoot 100% from 3 for 2 seasons, so there's that, I guess. Yao Ming was supposedly created in a lab by China to take over American sports, and theoretically he could have done it. He was drafted to the Rockets in 2002, and he made an All-Star team in his rookie year. He was 7'6", 300 pounds, could theoretically space the floor, and was hitting fadeaways like MJ. Injuries would cut his career short as he only played 8 seasons, but every year he played he made the All-Star team and made 5 All-NBA selections as well as an All-Rookie team. Yao Ming could have been one of the most unstoppable players in NBA history. David Thompson was drafted to the Atlanta Hawks in 1975. He won the Rookie of the Year averaging 26, 6, and 4, as well as making an All-Star team. His career wasn't the longest, only lasting at 9 years, but individually it was very fruitful. He made 5 All-Star teams, 2 All-NBA teams, an ABA team, 1 Rookie of the Year, and was even on the All-ABA all-time team. Though he didn't achieve much in the playoffs, he contributed and played his heart out every time. Blake Griffin was drafted to the Los Angeles Clippers in 2009, and he instantly became the funniest player in the NBA. He missed his first season due to injury, and this would become a common theme in his career. Blake Griffin was the last rookie to make an All-Star team, averaging 23 and 12 that year. He then went on to make 4 straight, move to Detroit and make another. He won Rookie of the Year, made an All-Rookie team, and won a dunk contest as well. A major factor of his career is the ability to change his game after getting injured. He lost a lot of his athleticism, but he maneuvered in a way that made him still useful to most NBA teams. Andrew Wiggins arguably came in with some of the highest expectations for a number 1 pick ever after getting drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2014, then traded to the Timberwolves. People were calling him Maple Jordan, and people were even saying that Kobe was going to pass the torch to him instead of LeBron. And though he played well enough to win Rookie of the Year and made an All-Rookie team, he never lived up to his expectations. So after 6.5 years on the Timberwolves, the one-time All-Star was traded to the Warriors, and now he's making a comeback. He won an NBA championship contributing 17, 8 and 2 whilst being an elite defender. He may not be Maple Jordan, but he's definitely making a comeback. In 1993, the Orlando Magic selected Chris Webber with their number 1 pick. He was subsequently traded to the Golden State Warriors and performed well enough to win Rookie of the Year, and obviously making a rookie team. In his 4th season, he made an All-Star team. 2 years later, he was a rebound champion, and then went on for 4 straight years making an All-Star team. In his 15-year career, he averaged 21, 10 and 4, whilst being on an All-NBA team 5 times. Derrick Rose was taken by the Chicago Bulls in 2008. We all know Derrick Rose's story, but before the injury, he averaged 17, 4 and 6 in his rookie season, winning him an All-Rookie team and Rookie of the Year. He averaged 23, 7 and 4 in his stretch as an All-Star, and obviously became the youngest MVP in NBA history. He also took his team to the Eastern Conference Finals, and hit one of the greatest game winners in NBA history.
It still is a madhouse on Madison as Derrick Rose nails the 3, and the Bulls take.
Post-injury, he's performed relatively well, and after he got traded to the Knicks, he had to begin embracing his new role as a different type of player. After his time in the Timberwolves, he solidified himself as a solid player in the league once again. Bill Walton was taken by the Trailblazers in 1974, and in his 10-year career, he achieved a multitude of honors. He has 2 All-Star appearances, a rebounding champion, a block champion, 2 All-NBA teams, 2 All-Defensive teams, an MVP, a 6th Man of the Year, 2 championships, and a 1977 NBA Finals MVP. Overall, he contributed to winning and was effective all over the court. Elgin Baylor is an icon in the NBA. He was drafted to the Minneapolis Lakers in 1958 and averaged 25, 15 and 4 in his first season. Aside from one down year, he stayed consistent as his career ended with him averaging 27, 13 and 4. Along with that, he achieved 11 All-Stars, 10 All-NBAs, and a Rookie of the Year, which despite his era was still impressive. After a rigged draft, the New York Knicks selected Patrick Ewing in the 1985 draft. In his career, he achieved 11 All-Stars, 7 All-NBAs, an All-Rookie team, Rookie of the Year, and 3 All-Defensive teams, not to mention being one of the most dominant big men in NBA history. In his 17-year career, he was one of the best defensive presences and scoring threats in the league. James Worthy, previously mentioned in this list, was drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers in 1982. He played for LA his entire career and helped them produce a legacy. In his 12-year career, he made an All-Rookie team averaging 13, 5 and 2. He made 7 All-Star teams in a row, averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists in this time. He also made 2 All-NBA teams, won 3 championships whilst almost repeating, and won Finals MVP in 1988. He had a magical career, pun intended. Elvin Hayes had an illustrious career from 1968 when he was drafted by the San Diego Rockets. He didn't win Rookie of the Year when he averaged 28, 17 and 1 and played 45 minutes per game. Before his career, he averaged 21, 13 and 2 almost every year of his career. He has 12 All-Stars, 2 rebound champions, 6 All-NBA teams, an All-Rookie team, and 2 All-Defensive teams. Allen Iverson not only changed the game of basketball but the culture of basketball. The future MVP was drafted in a class that contained Stephon Marbury, Ray Allen, Kobe Bryant, Peja Stojakovic, and Steve Nash, but he was the number 1 pick for a reason. His influence on the game and the culture behind the NBA is something that will likely last forever. From constantly getting dress coded to changing how most players play the game, he was unique. This uniqueness led him to collect accolades like they were candy. He got an MVP, 11 All-Stars, 4 scoring championships, 3 steals championships, 7 All-NBA selections, the Rookie of the Year, and led his team to the NBA Finals when no one was expecting him to. He was simply the answer. Kyrie Irving, through his controversy, has ruined his public perception, but he still excels as a player. In 2011, he was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers and won Rookie of the Year averaging 19, 5 and 4. In the coming seasons, he'd improve every aspect of his game until the one and only LeBron James returned to Cleveland. To cut a long story short, Kyrie would hit one of the greatest shots in NBA history to win a title and was a vital factor to manufacturing one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history. Since he left LeBron, he hasn't accomplished much, but his 7 All-Stars, 3 All-NBAs, All-Rookie team, and greatest NBA Finals earns him this spot. Now, the top 10. Anthony Davis, for the past 7 years or so, has been a top 10 player in the NBA. After getting drafted by the New Orleans Hornets, now the New Orleans Pelicans, he came in averaging 14, 8 and 1, and landed on the All-Rookie team. The next season, he'd explode into a 21, 10 and 2 guy with 3 blocks and 2 steals. He'd only improve from there, continuously getting better throughout his career. Eventually, he gets traded to the Lakers, and to go alongside his 6 All-Stars, 4 All-NBAs, 3 block champions, 4 All-Defensive teams, 4 All-NBA teams, and Defensive Player of the Year caliber season, and a NBA championship, and was in serious contention for Finals MVP that series. Dwight Howard has fallen into obscurity, but the monster that he was should never be forgotten. He was drafted in 2004 by the Orlando Magic, and though he didn't win Rookie of the Year, he contributed 12, 10, and 1, landing him on the All-Rookie team. He would then go on to become the biggest lob threat and defensive force the NBA has ever seen. He got 8 All-Stars, 2 block champions, 5 rebound champions, 8 All-NBA selections, 5 All-Defensive selections, and 3 Defensive Player of the Years. Even through the injuries that stunted his growth, in 2020 he helped the Lakers achieve an NBA championship. In that run, he even shot 50% from 3. D12 was a monster that should never be forgotten. The original Mr. Triple-Double himself is one of the greatest point guards of all time. After getting drafted by the Cincinnati Royals in 1960, if you round the decimals, he averaged a 30-point triple-double in his first 3 seasons. And if you don't round the decimals, he averaged an actual triple-double in his second season, averaging 32, 11, and 13. He'd be an All-Star for the first 12 out of his 14-year career and finished with 6 assist champions, 11 All-NBAs, the Rookie of the Year, the 1964 MVP, and the 1971 NBA Championship. He'd end his career averaging GOAT-like numbers of 26, 8, and 10 on 50% shooting. David Robinson is the Admiral. He was drafted to the San Antonio Spurs in 1989, and after missing his first 2 years to serve the US Navy, he'd come back averaging 24, 12, and 2 with 2 steals and 4 blocks. He then repeated his stat line for a damn good stretch until an injury took him out for a season and altered his career path. In his time in San Antonio, he became a 10-time All-Star, the 94 scoring champion, the 91 rebound champion, the 92 block champion, a 10-time All-NBA player, an 8-time All-Defensive player, made the All-Rookie team, won Rookie of the Year, won the 92 Defensive Player of the Year, the 95 MVP, and became a 2-time NBA champion, as well as becoming one of 4 players in NBA history to record a quadruple-double. This was the Admiral. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon was an anomaly to big men. Coming straight from Nigeria to the Houston Rockets in 1984, Hakeem's footwork was the stuff of nightmares to other big men. He had footwork like no one else, and this gave him an advantage. Bear in mind, he was drafted before Michael Jordan, and for solid reason. He'd end his career with 12 All-Star appearances, became a 2-time rebound champion, a 3-time block champion, won 2 titles, 12 All-NBAs, 9 All-Defensive teams, an All-Rookie team, 2 Defensive Player of the Years, 2 Finals MVPs, and a 94 MVP. The Dream was an inspiration for players big and small for the future. Shaquille O'Neal is regarded as one of the most dominant players of all time and is highly uncontested. Shaq was drafted to the Orlando Magic in '92 and won Rookie of the Year and made an All-Star appearance with size and athleticism. In his second season, he averaged 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 assists with 3 blocks on 60% shooting. It was damn near impossible to stop him, and paired alongside Kobe Bean Bryant, they had 3-peat when he joined LA in '96, and then he went to Miami next to another all-time point guard in D Wade and won another ring. 3 Finals MVPs, 15 All-Stars, 2 scoring championships, 4 titles, 14 All-NBAs, an All-Rookie selection, a Rookie of the Year, 3 All-Defensive teams, and an MVP later, no one has come or gone that has the ability to stop Shaquille O'Neal. Mr. Fundamental himself, Tim Duncan, was drafted to San Antonio Spurs after a 4-year college career in 1997. He'd come in averaging 21, 3, and 12 and made an All-Defensive team and an All-Star selection in his rookie season. This would be the first of many, as in his career he'd get 15 All-Stars, 5 championships, 5 All-NBAs, 15 All-Defensive teams, an All-Rookie team, Rookie of the Year, 3 Finals MVPs, and 2 MVPs in his 19-year career. He was a force on both ends of the court. Irvin Magic Johnson got his nickname because his game was, quote, like magic. The 6'9" playmaker was drafted out of Michigan to the Los Angeles Lakers. In his rookie season, he averaged 18, 7, and 8 on 53% shooting. He'd also won a championship and Finals MVP all in his rookie season. Magic was like nothing we've heard before. Playing as a defensive point guard at 6'9", it was completely unheard of. For his career, he'd averaged 20 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds, while getting 12 All-Stars, 4 assist champions, 2 steal champions, 5 championships, 10 All-NBAs, 3 Finals MVPs, and 3 regular season MVPs. His career truly was like magic. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the first GOAT in NBA history. Kareem created a style of shot that has rarely been accurately replicated and is one of the toughest shots to stop when coming from himself. He averaged 39, 15, and 4 in his first season. He also won a championship with the Bucks in his second season, then moved after he faced discrimination after converting to Islam, and won 5 more championships in LA. He finished with 19 All-Stars, 2 scoring champs, a rebound champ, 4 block champs, 6 NBA championships, 15 All-NBA selections, 11 All-Defensive selections, the All-Rookie team, a Rookie of the Year, 2 Finals MVPs, and 6 regular season MVPs before retiring in '89. He was the first GOAT. But now we have the GOAT, the King, L Train, LeBron James. He has been the model of all-time consistency and quality play. He's been one of the best players in the league since his second season, arguably has no flaws in his game, and has had one of the longest and highest peaks in NBA history. He is one of, if not the clutchest player in NBA history. He went to 8 straight finals in a row, has won a finals MVP and championship on 3 different teams, has arguably 2 of the hardest rings in NBA history, the only player in NBA history with 30k points, 10k assists and 10k rebounds, and is on his way to break the all-time scoring record this season. Throughout his legendary career, he's achieved 18 All-Stars, a 2008 scoring championship, a 2020 assist championship, 18 All-NBAs, an All-Rookie team, a Rookie of the Year, 6 All-Defensive teams, 4 MVPs, 4 Finals MVPs, and 4 championships. He is far and away the best #1 pick in NBA history. But if you want to see why LeBron is not the GOAT, click this video here. If you like the video, like the video. If you don't. Subscribe if you want. And now on Twitter, click the link in the description if you want to go see my takes or whatever. I'm done. Okay, bye.